So I wanted to do a quick video about a channeled message that I received yesterday. For those of you who don't know, I am a twin flame and I have done twin flame readings on this channel in the past, and I'm going to start those back up again, but I wanted to put my energy and effort into the zodiac readings, and now that those are up and running, I can get back to the twin flame readings as well. So I did channel a message yesterday for the Twin Flame Collective. And the reason that you can't see my face and the reason this is a voiceover is because I'm traveling right now. Some stuff went on with my travel arrangements. So yeah, you can't see my face in this. But I had to record this voiceover while the message is still fresh in my mind. So in light of all of the things that have been going on with, the R. Kelly documentary and a lot of victims coming to speak up about what has been done to them, it has been a lot of heavy energy circulating. I feel a lot of people being triggered, especially the Divine Feminine Collective being very triggered, because a lot of us who are Divine Feminines, we have struggled with sexual abuse in the past and things of that sort. So it makes sense that all of this collective upheaval surrounding sexual abuse would be very heavy and triggering for us. And so basically the message that I was getting yesterday is that the things that we have gone through in our personal twin flame journey within our twin flame relationship is what the collective is going to go through on a large scale. So I'm not saying that I'm the first one to channel this message. I may have heard this before. I'm not really too sure though, but it was coming through to me very, very clearly. So the dynamics that have played out within our twin flame relationship with our divine masculine, basically it has prepped us for what the collective is going through at the moment. So I'm going to try to articulate it the best way I know how and what I'm seeing in my mind and what I'm hearing. So basically right now, you can see on a collective level in society, the shadow masculine is coming to the surface. So we have the divine feminine, the shadow feminine, the divine masculine, the shadow masculine. And I'm not saying that these are two separate beings, because even as divine feminines, we still have a shadow feminine side as well that we have been working to clear and working to heal. So when I say shadow masculine and divine masculine, I'm not necessarily talking about two separate groups. It could be like the same people, but just with two separate aspects. But on a larger scale, it's really talking about societal issues or the societal stance when it comes to these energies. So it's not really talking about specific people. But with us, within our twin flame relationship, with us, it's specific people. We have us, the divine feminine, and then we have our divine masculine. But within society, it's more so an energy or a collective, like divine feminine energy, shadow feminine energy, divine masculine energy, shadow masculine energy. I hope that makes sense. So in our twin flame relationship, we got to see our divine masculine shadow really come to the surface, and us as twin flames, as divine feminines, we have basically called them out on it, and we were the catalyst for their spiritual awakening, just like they were the catalyst for ours. I know that when it comes to my divine masculine, I definitely called him out on his very abusive tendencies and the ways that he has harmed women. He has, ghosted women and kind of made an excuse for it by saying, oh, I needed to get myself together, so that's why I ghosted this person. So he would make a lot of excuses for his lack of empathy. And we see that on a grand scale with society, that when it comes to toxic masculinity and the ways that toxic masculinity has really hurt us as a society and really harmed us. And there are people who basically will make excuses for it, or they'll say, as long as things are getting accomplished, as long as money's being made, it's kind of like the things that are done are being swept under the rug. I hope that I'm making sense. So I saw that play out in my own twin flame relationship, because like I said, what we go through as twin flames is just a smaller version of what the collective is going through. So we get to experience it first, so we are prepared to help the collective get through what they are going through. So I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying my hardest to articulate what I mean. So like I was saying, I would call out my divine masculine on his very abusive tendencies and on the ways in which he would ghost women or mistreat women, and he would always have an excuse. And it got to a point where, he became very successful and became, he worked towards a lot of money, and he finally got an opportunity to make a lot of money. And I could see that his behavior was becoming even worse or even more dismissive, meaning that once he saw that he had money, it's like now, I really don't have to be sorry for anything that I've done. I really can bury the past and not care about the things that I have done or the hearts that I have broken or things of that sort. So Sorry if there was a pause in the audio. I had to stop it real quick. But like I was saying, as he came into money, he started to really not care about the pain that he was causing. And again, you can see that on a collective level, how it's been glorified in our society that if you make money and that if you are very affluential, I think that's the word, affluential, if you are affluent, I believe the word is, you don't really need to care too much about people's feelings because you will be respected. And that is a trait of the shadow masculine, also known as toxic masculinity. So that energy has definitely been running rampant in our society. And you can see it with the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. The reason that he got away with what he got away with for so long was not only because of who his victims were, the group of women who he was victimizing were black women, and in society, black women have always been very much devalued and dismissed and silenced. But that's that's another topic. But like I was saying, he was able to partially get away with it, not only because who his victims were, but also because of the fact that he has money and because he is powerful. And like I said, that is a shadow aspect of masculine energy. Divine masculine energy is here to protect. Shadow masculine energy is here to exploit. Divine masculine energy is here to encourage and uplift, and shadow masculine energy is here to abuse and dismiss. So you can clearly see how these aspects are playing out. So as divine feminines, we have definitely called out our divine masculines, and really held them accountable for the things that they've done. And for some of us, we are the first women in their lives, or well, it doesn't have to be women, because divine masculine and divine feminine energy could be two males, two females, so it's different dynamics in the twin flame journey. But just for the sake of what I'm saying, a lot of us were the first women to actually, or the first partner to actually call them out and say, you're wrong for what you're doing. Or because we are hypersensitive by nature, because that is an aspect of the shadow feminine, it's like we couldn't help but to express to them how much they were hurting us, or how much pain that they were causing to women, or to other partners in general. Because like I said, an aspect of us has been the shadow feminine, meaning the aspect that is always wanting the divine masculine's approval, always wanting to give love, but at the same time not receiving it and being okay with that, and being very hypersensitive and being triggered very easily. And these things were purged, and they come to the surface within us, not only so they can be cleared, but also to show the masculine dynamic, or our masculine counterpart, how much they are painting us. It's like we are a mirror for them, just like they are a mirror for us. In them, we see that we are being mistreated, and the ways that we mistreat ourselves, and the way that we devalue ourselves. And within us, they see the hurt and the pain that they have caused, and also they see that sensitive side of them that has been stomped out and that has been ignored. Every time that we would reach out to them crying, hysterical, upset, it was basically a physical manifestation of their inner child, and the ways that they have well, not their inner child, well, yeah, their inner child, but also their inner feminine energy, and the ways that feminine energy has been demonized, and how basically them being sensitive, or that part of them that feels, it has been suppressed by them and buried, because that is a dynamic of the shadow masculine. So we're seeing this play out on a collective level as well. So we're seeing that in society, it's very clear that feminine energy is demonized. It is meant to be looked at as something that is weak. It's meant to be looked at as something that should be suppressed. It's not good to show your feelings. It's not good to show your emotions. They'll tell you stop crying like a girl, stop crying like a bitch, even worse. And you start to see that a lot of people are really just suppressing their feminine aspect, and you can tell by the lack of empathy that a lot of people show. The whole no one owes you anything culture on Twitter. Well, at the same time, I do see that plays a purpose. I do see that it does help us to take accountability for our own emotions. There is also an undertone of it that is rooted in toxic masculinity, meaning that feminine energy is being demonized. So you being sensitive and having emotions is something that is seen as abnormal, and then being able to shut your emotions completely off and just put your head down and work and just get your money, don't worry about that, like that is something that is uplifted within society. And like I said, that is an aspect of the shadow masculine. So you can see on a collective level that the divine feminine is starting to rise, just like within our twin flame dynamic. Us as divine feminines, we spiritually awakened before the divine masculine, and we became the catalyst for the divine masculine. And because we are now stepping into our divine feminine energy, we are seeing as a collective that society is stepping into its divine feminine energy as well. So you see now that a lot of shadow masculines are being called to the forefront, and they're being put on trial, just like we put our own divine masculines on trial for the things that they've done. It's happening on a societal level or a collective level now. So you see R. Kelly coming out to the forefront, or his abusive ways starting to finally be seen. But not even that, a lot of men or a lot of people who hold masculine energy, whether it be in music or sports, like the entertainment industry, you're starting seeing a lot of people get crucified for the things that they have done. And if you look at the crimes that they have committed, it is usually against feminine energy. It wasn't always against men. I mean, it wasn't always against women. It wasn't always men abusing women. It was more so masculine, toxic masculinity abusing the feminine energy. So for example, Terry Crews with the Me Too movement, that was him standing up against toxic masculinity. So it's not about just men abusing women. It's about, like I said, the dynamics between the feminine and masculine energy. So when Terry Crews was sexually assaulted, that was ultimately on a more collective level, on a bigger level, that was feminine energy being demonized and assaulted, because the shadow masculine was using its power and its influence and its money to abuse instead of uplift. And that's why Terry Crews was assaulted and then expected to be quiet, because the person that assaulted him was someone who was very powerful. And again, that's an aspect of toxic masculinity. Now, Terry Crews, he actually responded in the energy of divine feminine energy, because he did not cower away from the fact that he felt violated. He did not cower away from the fact that people would make fun of him for not punching the guy in the face, but for instead using his voice to speak up and try to evoke change. That is divine feminine energy, and you can see how just him stepping into that divine feminine energy is one that caused such a large shift, because he could have easily stepped into shadow masculine energy. He could have easily attacked the guy, or he could have easily cut his emotions off and not felt any way about it, but then started to abuse other people in return. You see what I'm saying? Him actually coming to the front and him showing compassion for other victims while at the same time standing his ground, that was him embodying his divine feminine and his divine masculine energy. And that is the goal of the twin flames. That's what we are all basically striving to do. Have our divine masculine and divine feminine energy be balanced within us, so that we can still evoke change. We can still push for things to evolve and become better in society, which is our masculine energy taking action, but then also still keeping our humanity and our compassion and our sensitivity. And the driving force surrounding a lot of these societal movements have to do with taking that feminine energy of being compassionate and empathetic and actually doing something with it, with our masculine energy, and invoking change. So basically, to sum it all up, us as twin flames, we are playing a very important role in the collective, in the shift, because like I said, we have experienced all of the dynamics in our own personal lives first before the collective has experienced it. And now you're seeing it. You're starting to see that the things that we have gone through, it's playing out on a larger scale. It's playing out on the world stage. You just have to take note of it and pay attention. And because we have already been through it, and because we have worked through these issues, now we have the ability to have a voice to help people through this collective shift. So what else was there? I think there was another. Oh, okay. Divine masculines and their karmic partners. So basically what I was channeling also about the divine masculines is that a lot of them ran off with a karmic partner who is, I guess you could say, hypersexual, promiscuous, possibly, I guess that what the word would be. And I see this a lot in the karmic soulmate readings, or the karmic partner readings, where a lot of divine feminines will comment and say, oh, my divine masculine chose a slut over me, or a whore over me, or a gold digger over me, and things of that sort. And even that actually plays a role in what's going on collectively. So basically, if your divine masculine has left to run off with someone who is, I guess you could say, hypersexual, promiscuous, whatever you'd like to call it, that is actually triggering a lot of wounding that's surrounding sexuality within the divine feminines. So for some of us, that would actually trigger sexual abuse wounds, because when my divine masculine got a new girlfriend, well, actually, he left me for someone else and then got another girlfriend. But he was dealing with a couple women, actually, and all of them had one thing in common. They were all very openly sexual. So on Twitter, on social media, they will make it be known when they're having sex with him, or how good the sex was, or the sex positions that they were in, and oh, I let him spit in my mouth, and things of that sort, like just really putting their sexual business on front line. And it's not something they were just doing with him. It's like by nature, that's just how they are. Because one of them, she had like a nude as her header, and he had a big problem with that, but he still pursued her anyway. And for a lot of us divine feminines, this was basically a opportunity for us to be triggered by that, because some of us actually have been sexually abused, and because of that, there is some type of suppressed or repressed energy that's surrounding our sexuality. And for some of us, them leaving us for women that are like that was actually calling that to the forefront. Because if you're someone who you've been sexually abused, or just by society in general, you've been shamed for sex, you could have a very negative outlook on sexuality, or on just sexual liberation. And seeing that within the divine masculine's relationship could actually kind of cause us to unearth those subconscious beliefs, and to kind of look at them and put them on front line in order for us to analyze them. So a lot of divine feminines had to analyze the fact that they were slut shamed before, and so now they are slut shaming this new karmic partner. You see what I'm saying? That's just an example. All different twin flames will have different dynamics, but that's just an example. Now, on a collective level, you see that a lot of the things that are being called out is sexual abuse. It's specifically talking about sexual abuse, and that's because sexual abuse is a very spiritual crime, and that's the best way I can explain it. I mean, any crime or anything that you go through is rooted in spirituality, or there's a spiritual undertone to it, but sexual abuse is very significant spiritually, only because it's the abuse that sticks with you, and it kind of digs into you on a soul level. It's like it violates you on a soul level. Like, for example, if a stranger comes up to you and slaps you in the face, you're probably going to slap them back, you're probably going to fight, and then you're going to move on with your life. It's not going to be something that's going to be scarring. But if a stranger comes up to you and grabs you by your genitals, or fondles you, even if it's just for 1 second, you could attack them, or you could defend yourself, but it's something that it's like it penetrates deeper. You know what I'm saying? It's like it changes your outlook, or it makes you more paranoid, or it makes you feel more violated. That's what I mean when I say sexual abuse kind of sticks or penetrates more deeply and stays with us the longest. And that's why that's a lot of abusers' weapon of choice is sexual abuse, because they know that that is going to stick with the person the longest. It's spiritual warfare of the worst kind. It opens up the floodgates for a lot of demonic entities or lower vibrational entities to really enter our lives and wreak havoc on us. So you're seeing how that plays out within the collective. You're seeing that with the things that happened with R. Kelly and Aaliyah. Even if you look back to R. Kelly's actual past, he himself was molested for years. It's not just even him that's playing out with. You also see, if you're on YouTube a lot and you watch YouTube, you might have been following the story with this guy, Nature Boy, and his cult that he started, or his tribe, what he calls it, Carbon Nation, that he started. And he has admitted that he was sexually abused as a child. And you see now, this man clearly suffers from narcissistic tendencies. It's very obvious. And I'm not giving him a diagnosis, but I'm saying that the tendencies and the traits that he has mimic those of a narcissist. And it's very obvious and clear that it is the direct result of him being sexually abused. Now, like I said, as twin flames, a lot of us have experienced this on a personal level, and we are working to clear that. And we're seeing it play out on a subconscious, on a collective conscious level as well. And us as divine feminines, we are doing a lot of spiritual work. We are doing a lot of uplifting. Some of us are tarot readers, some of us are YouTubers, and even if you're like a nurse, or just you don't have to be someone who's a public figure to be a divine feminine. Like I said, there are divine feminines who are nurses and who work at Walmart, who are just giving people positive energy just with their exchanges. So divine feminines can be found anywhere, and I could always spot them. So yeah, we have experienced that on a personal level, and so the sexual abuse wound is definitely being opened up in order for it to be cleared. And it just looks like the divine feminine energy is absolutely on the rise. It's a little imbalanced right now because we have been, so far in one extreme, we're swinging to the next. So we've been living so long in a society where it was acceptable to be just a savage, or to not care, or to be, to be abusive for so long, that now you notice, if you look on social media, we're swinging to the extreme other end of that, which is hypersensitivity. So that's why you'll hear people say, oh, y'all are so sensitive on the internet these days, y'all are so sensitive. And it's because usually when you have been operating from one extreme, you'll usually swing to the other extreme before you find balance. So you see, it's operating from, I have no empathy, I don't care about anyone, and it's acceptable for me to be abusive, to now, if you say one little thing offensive, everyone is going to attack you for it because everyone's hypersensitive. So we're working at two different extremes. And you can definitely see a dramatic shift and a dramatic change for sure. Something else that I've noticed, just another example of the shadow masculine kind of being put on trial or being called to the forefront, is that someone tweeted today, retweet this if you've ever been groped or fondled by members of Omega Psi Phi, which is a Greek fraternity. And it's interesting that I had to add that in, because literally as soon as I was about to log off of Twitter in order to film this, I saw that tweet, and I knew I had to add that, because I have. Okay, sorry if the audio cut, the recorder cut off again. But like I was saying, I have had experiences with that in the past. And that's why I encourage a lot of divine feminines to really stop and analyze your life. Has there been any significant moments in your life or reoccurring themes that just always seem to come up? Because usually those are puzzle pieces. Because what I've noticed is that when I sit and analyze my life or my past, if there's like a specific something that always stood out to me, or that I just had a particularly strong reaction to, it usually plays into my twin flame journey. So I'm using this example because when my sister first went to college, when I went to college first, the Greeks were something that I was very interested in, and I thought they were like cool, and I thought that they were like, I like to see them step, and the whole Greek worship. If you've ever been to a HBCU, you know how that goes. You're just very impressed by them when you first step onto campus, and then you start to kind of see, or most people, some people start to see the twisted kind of undertone that comes with them, because a lot of them were very aggressive sexually, and it was normal in them at a party to come up and sniff your ass like a dog, or sniff your crotch like a dog. And people can try to deny this all they want to, or they can try to say, oh, that was just your school. But I'm not really trying to hear that, because clearly now on social media, you see a lot of people are sharing their stories as well. So, I mean, feel how you want it in the comment section. I got to give that disclaimer, because when I start talking about Greeks, people start getting crazy and start, you can't slander a whole organization. I'm not. I'm just giving an example of someone or an event in my life that I see now playing out on a collective. I'm giving the example to correlate it with the twin flame journey, and how a lot of our life events or things that particularly impacted us have something to do with our journey or our mission. So now, back to what I was saying. I remember being very disturbed by it, and I remember kind of being an oddball about it, because I felt like I couldn't really say much about it because it was so accepted on the campus, and people didn't think there was anything wrong with it. But I remember being really, really irritated by it, and by some of the things that they would say, and me with my mouth, I would say something disrespectful right back to them, and I wasn't scared. And people were always kind of like, oh my God, like, you can't say this to the, yes, I can, because they're disrespecting me. So it's always, it's that specific fraternity always stood out to me as being the most disrespectful. And this may differ from other people. Some people may have had only positive experiences with this fraternity. And that's why I said it goes on a case-by-case basis, and it has to do with your own personal journey. So when my sister went off to school, when she was just like, oh my God, these Greeks, and I knew immediately when she was complaining or about to complain to me that she was going to talk about the Qs. And when she first was about to complain to me about it, I'm just like, you have to be talking about the Qs. I know it. I could just feel it intuitively. And she was just like, yeah, like, they're so disrespectful. I think they like picked one of her friends up by the crotch or something like that. And I'm just like, that fraternity has always been an issue, and it always stood out to me. Like, I'm just like, I don't know why other people can't see how disrespectful this fraternity is, or why other people can't see that this is an issue. Like, what is it going to take for people to open up their eyes and see? It's been something that's always been bothering me. And randomly today, somebody started a whole thread about it. I've been seeing other people on Twitter talk about fraternities and stuff like that, but this is the first time I saw a specific person say, retweet this if you've ever been groped, fondled, whatever else by this specific fraternity. And it's just like, it all clicked in my head, the puzzle piece clicked in my head, like the chickens are basically coming home to roost. Anything that has affected me personally in my life or had a hard impact on me, I've noticed that It has to do with toxic masculinity, and it has to do with the rest of the collective not being aware or suppressing it or dismissing or silencing the feminine energy. And now we see that they're being called to the forefront for the things that they've done, and they are kind of being put on trial in order for all of this to shift, in order for us to shift as a collective and to not allow these things. So I only shared that part because, like I said, twin flames, really stop and look at your life and things that had a significant impact on you, or things that you felt really strongly about, and you'll start to see that that has to do with your mission, and that has to do with the collective and what's going on in the collective. So I guess I'll close this out with something that I've noticed about Chance the Rapper, and I won't get too much into this because I need to do a whole different video on that. But Chance the Rapper came out and said that he basically was dismissing R. Kelly's victims because they were black. Now, a lot of people thought that he was saying that, oh yeah, consciously I saw that they were black, and I said, no, like, y'all are lying. No, he was saying that it was a subconscious program that has been basically embedded in him by society, and that he's acknowledging now that he sees why he was so dismissive. He didn't see why he was dismissive of them before, but now he sees it's because they're black women, and it's a societal program that programs us to not be empathetic or compassionate towards black women. And again, I'm going to do a whole separate video. But Chance the Rapper is an example of this shift that's taking place, meaning that people are going to start to wake up to subconscious programming, because a lot of people in society, they are really operating from the subconscious. They're not operating from the conscious mind. It's things that have been implanted in us from history, from society, from the media, from our environment, that is subconscious, and it's in there, and it's allowing us, or it's forcing us basically to act in a certain way. And a lot of people think that they have free will, and they don't, because if you have not deprogrammed and reprogrammed your mind, you do not have free will, because you're operating on the program that is running within your subconscious. And a lot of those programmings have to do with what society has embedded in us, and it usually takes a significant event for this to be unearthed and for this to come to the forefront. So Terry Crews was a catalyst for the shadow masculine to be unearthed and to be transformed into divine masculine energy, and for the divine feminine to be on the rise. Chance the Rapper is just an example, and that's why I was encouraging people to see the bigger picture. People were so focused on, oh, he's trash, he's canceled, we need to cancel him. And I'm like, people, you have the right to feel how you want to feel, because this is a very triggering topic, but don't get so caught up in the canceling that you miss it. You're missing it. It's bigger than Chance the Rapper. It's bigger than what he had to say about it. He is representing a collective, and you have to see things from a higher perspective. And if you think it's not that deep, or it's not even that serious, then you're just not there. Like, you're just not there, or you're not meant to understand, I should say, because I don't think that it's a matter of people are not as intelligent as the next person. Some people literally are just not there yet. Like, they're not meant to see it. They're not trying to see it. They're on a different frequency. But for those of us who are twin flames, who are meant to see it, we are going to see it. It's all about the collective. Everything that happens is on a personal level, but there is a spiritual implication behind it, and it's about the collective. So Chance the Rapper is a representation of the way that society is going to start to transform, and society is going to start to unearth those subconscious programs, and finally realize the errors in everyone's ways when it comes to the way that the divine feminine has been treated throughout history. So that is it. I know that was kind of a long message. I hope that it was helpful. And again, Divine Feminines, thank you for all the work that you are doing. I'm very proud of you. Divine Masculines, if you are listening, I'm proud of you as well. I know it's a long journey. The twin flame journey is not an easy one, but we are doing what we came here to do, and we are living in our purpose. So I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you for listening. Bye.